What's up, guys? I was just about to click the video button, and I took a picture of myself, and I look stupid. But what's going on? Another day, another dollar. I kind of want to set my phone up so I can actually just not hold it. Let's see if this works. Kind of slanted here. Do All right, maybe I should have started this video or got this done before I started it, but it's all right. We're a little slanted. What's the problem, huh? You got a problem with slantedness? So, guys, it was a pretty good day. I was super productive, woke up super late. I don't know what it is with me. I think I just sleep horribly, and I probably need to go to sleep earlier than I do. But I've been hanging out with my dad a good bit because I haven't seen him in so long. And today was FOMC, so could have been cool to trade. I never trade during FOMC, but it's so volatile, and I really don't think that it's that psyche outy. It's actually not that broken because I'm a market structure trader, so I'm always going. I always have a pretty easy set. What do you call it? System or set of rules. So. But no, today seemed pretty good. I did some back testing, which was cool. A couple meetings. I did some back testing on just like speculative scalping, which actually wasn't that bad. I did pretty good. And that's like a totally reoccurring theme, is that whenever I'm doing back testing, it's like so easy. And then you trade for real. And live back testing, by the way, I'm not picking and choosing. Like live back testing in the moment, it's so easy. And then, you're trading for real with real money. And, at that point, I can really only get break even, which is a huge step. It's big on my trading career. I've been trading for, I'm 20. I'm nearly 21. And I started when I was 15, right when COVID was. So it's been nearly 6 years, which is pretty crazy to think about, that the years just keep going by and I'm still doing the same thing. But I really love it. It's a really fun job. Stressful. But the patterns, the pattern analysis, the data recording, the, kind of I'm also a programmer in it, so putting a creative spin on it. So the language I code in is called PineScript. It's like a Python spin-off for technical analysis. And I really couldn't tell you any more about it than that. But it's a really fun language. Especially when you know it. Now, at the point I know it, it's almost as if I've probably been saying for the past 2 years that I know all there is to know about it. Like I can do anything I want in it. But I have to admit, over the past 2 years, I've still been learning a thing or two here and there, Like wall statements. I would never, ever use wall statements. I still barely use them. I just pop a couple ifs in there. I've never used, maybe I should try to. Switches I started using a couple years ago. That was a cool change. Enums, tuples, to just list off some. It's like they really don't change much in ability, but they make your coding a lot simpler, which is cool. So that's pretty cool. Arrays, of course. I've had arrays down for quite a while. Arrays are fun. Now I'm just going through and doing sometimes for loops and for loops and for loops, like some real stuff where I'm about to blow up my computer. Especially probably the most cumbersome and hard to figure out. Just the math was really hard, or the process. The process was easy. The math was hard. And the live testing to figure out if it was working right was probably the hardest because it was hard to display. It was probably volume profiles, and TPO charts. Similarly, TPO charts are just volume profiles, but with time. So it was really the same thing. But you're parsing through a lot of data every single bar, and sometimes you got you have to have at least two for loops, and sometimes you have a third, a straggler for value areas or point of controls, right? So no, it's just some cool math. It's cool math, and it's creative because at its core the language is visual. So whatever you're programming, you're creating some visual representation of some, they're called indicators, right? But indicators are really just like you're extracting some form of information from price action, and then you're displaying it on the chart. So, whether that's like some boxes on price that show support and resistance, like order blocks, or something simple like a moving average, or something super complicated like market structure, or volume profiles, or volume profiles over market structure. Market structure is something cool that I've learned. I'm a market structure trader, so I programmed it out. I'm still working on it. It took me years because you start with market structure, which is just like a framework for knowing which direction price is moving. If you're moving up, you're making higher highs and higher lows. If you're moving down, you're making lower highs and lower lows. And then you have breakup structures, reversals, SFPs, and that's just market structure alone. But then you have all of like the second order implications of those, like ranges, supply chains, Fibonacci's, volume profiles. Overlaid on market structure is one of them, like an extension volume profile. I'm kind of getting into the weeds, but I just want you guys to know that I actually do this. This is my job. I work for a hedge fund doing this all day. So market structure is just, I don't know how you could trade any other way. If you want to talk like a reproducible, I guess anything's reproducible, but I just don't really see, like my coworkers they use a custom indicator. They use super trends recently. My other friend does moving averages and anything, kind of whatever works at the moment for him, whatever he thinks is useful at the moment, because markets change and that's real. But he's got a lot more years under his belt than I do. Probably, I have 6 years, so it has to be at least 2 or 3 times as many years. But I just don't see how you could do it any other way than market structure. That's kind of the only way I see. It's the only way I can do it, that's for sure. But yeah, so that's my job. Programming's really cool. Great use of the brain. Great use of the brain. I really want to get into another skill that is similar in its like engineering aspect. Like really, I want to get into engineering, but I don't have any tools for engineering. I can build stuff out of wood. I have like woodworking tools, but I'm also not in a position in my life where I'm like, I have a problem that I need to solve with something mechanical, and I have like the time, the freedom, or the energy to make it myself. Because you got Amazon these days, so you can just go anywhere and buy anything. It's like, what do you want? You want a fence latch for this super specific fence, sure, yeah, you can buy it off like parts.com or something. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's for cars, but vehicles. But there's not like a huge reason to need to do engineering things. It's almost like there's a weird barrier of entry there where it's like you kind of just have to really want to do it for fun until you know enough where you can invent something and make something, you know what I mean? And then maybe sell that invention or patent it. But engineering's really cool, and I really like the creative aspect of it where it is so inventive. It's so cool. So I really strive to be a polymath in my life, and that's only come out in a handful of places. I'm a drummer. I love music. I'm really trying to get into like producing, just because of, well, Kanye West. You know, I really don't listen to a lot of music, but and especially rap music. I mean, I listen to a lot of jazz, early, R&B. Funk is one of my favorites, especially as a drummer. Funk is just really fun to play. A lot of 70s, 80s stuff, a lot of, what would you call it? Techno? It's not really techno. Anyway, drum and bass, different thing. Not that quite, but my friend put me onto Kanye West probably junior year of high school, junior or senior year of high school. And I've tried to listen to so many other rappers, and yeah, I'm sure a few of them come through as kind of like eye-opening. But Kanye West, it's like his music is in a different frequency. I don't know if that's like 432 hertz or something, like all our music. I'm saying a lot. A lot. I'm sorry. But it's as if all of our music in recent history, maybe for a long time, is in this kind of frequency that sounds good but doesn't feel good. And his music, I don't know what it is, but it just feels different. Feels different. Maybe it's because he's one of the few. He's certainly not one of the few Christian rappers. That's a outrageous statement. I'd say definitely the most popular. I think what he's really great at portraying, though, is like that fight against evil and for God. I mean, that's his whole persona, is like someone with bipolar disorder. You're all the way one way and then you're all the way the opposite. And I feel like his music, sometimes just intra song, and then maybe intra album, but maybe also, I mean, all three of these things, his discography, if I said that right, discography. I don't know how to say that, but all of his songs, you listen to one and it's like Jesus Walks. And then you listen to another one and it's like, oh, what's that song? It's not even really a song. It's more like a poem. I thought about killing you today. I think that's what it's called. Totally one way and then the other. I mean, his gospel stuff is even a greater comparison, but just a cool guy. His music shows that he's a cool guy with some color. He's three-dimensional. I strive to be three-dimensional. And I feel like a lot of people I interact with are not. They're kind of simple. I might have talked about this before, but I have these conversations with my girlfriend, where we're like, we're in a argument that's maybe somewhat petty, right? Because they happen every once in a while. and we're arguing over something that's like super physical and like, just an argument. But the more and more she talks with me, I keep going down and down and down into a more like basal level of understanding. Like eventually I'm talking about God. Eventually I'm talking about about the Bible and like, well, what would Jesus do? It's always where I end up. And she's like, why do you have to get so, oh gosh, what's the word she uses? Why do you have to get so, it starts with an E, I think. Extradential. It's not that, but that's the closest thing. Oh, existential. Okay. Whoa, brain fart there. Why do you have to be so existential? I'm just a deep thinker, sorry. I just want to be three-dimensional. And I feel like that's not actually the point. That's more of like the means to the end. I don't know if I said that right. It's not that I'm trying to be three-dimensional and then I'm that way. Like I just go to God. It's just that I'm very finite with the difference between things. So like two things can seem really similar, but a very minute detail can be like, well, no, that makes this one good and this one really bad. And I explain that I'm kind of like an over-explainer. It's going to be too complicated. It's going to be too long for me to come up with a strong example of this. I'm thinking of a few, but none that are like, I got to be in the argument. I got to be channeling. I got to be channeling like the angel of argument, which I don't think exists, at least in those terms, but I can argue. The only problem with my arguing typically is that, and I think this, anybody that has like hard data is just going to blow me out of the water because my arguments are all, see how that works. My arguments are all theoretical. They're all based in theory. Like I'm really not, I'll bring up data points occasionally if they come to memory easily, but usually I'm using a lot of metaphors and I'm just thinking more than I am like regurgitating. Regurgitating is not the right word, but really you need both. You need a lot of information available, and then you need that like thinking wisdom. It's not wisdom, it's just ability. And I guess the point of this is not to argue circles around somebody. That's not what you want to do. Because what do you get out of that? Nothing. Maybe convincing them, but is that really what you're trying to do? So you don't really want to argue circles around somebody. You're really doing it to convince someone of something, but isn't that very selfish? That your argument or whatever you're trying to convince them of is superior to theirs. I think if it's rooted in God, you have to argue that. You have to get good at those arguments. These are really debates. I'm using argument. Argument has like a poor connotation of like yelling and screaming. At least with my parents when they were still together, but no, it's more of like a debate. And I like to have like playful debates, think about stuff or bring an idea or a way of thinking to its logical conclusion. And then it's just done. I'm so sorry. I didn't know this was going to be a 20-minute video and you've been looking at me sideways this whole time, but you're going to have to live with it because I'm still talking. And I really want to do this. I just want to kind of monologue forever. I admire a lot of thinkers that can do that. I think that's like a really strong way to use your brain. But one, I run out of subjects, and two, I just don't talk very well. I have a limited vocabulary. I'm not super convincing. I'm kind of just like a rambler. I'm like a level one rambler, but I'm trying to be like a level 50 debate boss. You know what I mean? So it'll take a long time, but this is why I'm doing it. 20 minutes is pretty long. All right, I want to try and go back to the I feel like I should just end it here, but I want to go back to that three-dimensionality in people a little bit more, because it's just coming into my head. I'm not going to do it. We're going to call it a day. This is 21 minutes. I'm going to give you the rest of my updates for my day, and then we'll call it. So, creatine worked out today, guys. For real, worked out today. All right. Pat me on the back a little bit for that one. Don't. How about when I do it a week in a row, you can pat me on the back. Took my creatine. Worked. Oh boy, I don't know if I timed myself today. I think I've definitely turned my clock on this morning, but I don't think I've timed how much I've worked and wasted and all that, so that's annoying. Didn't play the drums. Playing the drums or doing something musically inclined should really be on the list. I don't know how I waste so much time. I have no idea. I woke up this morning at 8. I think I actually got out of bed. And right now, I'm sure my phone's going to die. I don't know what time it is right now, but I think it's around then. And I'm ready to go to bed. So I was only up for 12 hours. You're supposed to sleep for 8 hours, awake for 16 hours. What happened to my extra 4 hours? And now I'm wired. It's like I have an easy time going to bed, but I don't have an easy time waking up. So I have like some problems with sleeping. Like I'm not getting my 2 cycles and getting up. And I have a lot of dreams. I have a lot of nightmare. I'm not like a stressed guy. I don't have stress or anxiety or anything. I just have like a lot of these. All right, I'm overstating it a little bit. I have a lot of dreams. And especially when I'm on my 4-hour sleep, 8-hour awake schedule, so I sleep 2 times a day, I have so many nightmares. Like demons coming to me. I'll tell you guys a cool story. Like demons coming to the side of my bed, like not really zombies, but like, very demon-like figures, like nightmare fuel. 3 guys. Not with any funny hats. I think like that's a top hat guy thing. But when I used to be on my 4-hour sleep, 8-hour schedule, it was like every day in the afternoon when I would go to sleep, when I'd take a nap. And I don't know if this is because like, I don't know why this is, because my shades are closed. I have like good shades. So it's not like it's because I'm in the light. The only thing I can really think of is that it's, well, one, unnatural to sleep during the day. Like your circadian rhythm's just totally, your melatonin isn't releasing. And 2, that everybody else in your area is awake, so there's nobody for demons to torment. If demons are only doing it at night. So like that one suicidal guy down the street that gets that demon every night, he's awake, so the demon's got nothing to do. He comes to you. I don't know, But really cool story, and I hope I remember this because it's been a little while. I was in this room. I was sleeping right in the bed, right in front of me. This is like my little cigar chair. Because my room's all oriented weird because I like my room right next to the window. So I can just open it and get that cold air on my face. You know what I'm saying? But I go to sleep. And I remember I was in I have these instances where I like lay down, fall asleep, then I wake up in a dream. And when I wake up in the dream, I know it's a dream, and I try to like get out of the dream because the dream's scary maybe, or because I'm, trying to like go to sleep or trying to wake up. Usually the dream is scary, so I'm trying to wake up. And I remember I was laying right here, fall asleep, I wake up, I'm lucid in this dream, and I'm like, oh, I have to wake up. Wake up, Nick, wake up. And I'm like, I'm fighting with myself. And if you've ever been lucid in a dream, it's like when you're losing the lucidness, it's like you're falling asleep in the dream and then you wake up in real life. So if you've ever been lucid and you're trying to like stay lucid in the dream, like, oh, I know I'm dreaming. What can I do in this dream? When your brain turns on too much or something and you start to wake up, and in the dream, it feels like you're falling asleep. So it's that weird switch up. But anyway, I'm in a dream and I'm like, Nick, you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up. And I'm like trying to, it's like vibrating. It's like these crazy frequencies are rushing through your body. My arms are ringing. I'm like trying to wake up. And I wake up. I think there might have actually been an intermediate dream in here. But I wake up and I'm like frozen in my bed. And I think I'm fully awake, but really I just went from one dream to a different dream. So when I thought I was waking up in the real world, I was actually just waking up in the real world in a dream. So I was right here. I thought it was real life, and I'm frozen, sleep paralysis. And I'm like trying to open my eyes, and they're going like this. I'm like, I can't keep them open. I'm trying to slam them open. And, same kind of thing with sleep and wake. And I slam them open, and I'm like looking around, and I look to my right where my bed, the side of my bed is, and there's a demon standing right over me, right here. And right then, the sleep paralysis was broken, because I guess I looked him in the eyes or something. I never really saw his head, but I saw, I looked at his head, but it wasn't there, if you get what I'm saying. It's like you don't really process it. But I saw his whole body, and he was standing there looking right over me while I'm sleeping in this dream. And I'm like, the sleep paralysis breaks. I rush to the other side of the bed away from it, and I close my eyes, and I go, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. Go to Jesus Christ. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. And then I open my eyes, still in the dream here, okay? I vomit out this black vomit out of my body. Okay, guys, this is freaking crazy, all right? So I just wait. I'm getting chills, dude. You got to feel the chills when they happen. It's telling you something. I needed to be reminded of this, so I'm actually really glad that I'm getting to retell this story. But so, guy right here, I wake up, I rush to the other side of the bed, and I open my eyes, and I just vomit out this black vomit. And it was a demon. I exorcised him. I said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ, and he left my body. That's what happened. I have a charger right here, and then I don't have to worry about my phone dying. So yeah, no, I totally had a demon in me. And I'm not going to tell you what he was making me do. Use your imagination. It's not that bad. Something everybody does, but it's a sin. And after that, I was pretty reformed for a long time. And I felt lighter the next day, and that's something you hear, and it's like, really, dude, you felt lighter? Like, shut up. Like, you felt lighter? Man, maybe it was just like I guess it must have just been like the thought of losing that being. that was in me, living off of me, right? Living off of my sin. And then I finally caught it in this dream. And I looked at it and I rebuked it in the name of Jesus Christ. And, I can do that right now. It's like I rebuke any demons in my body in the name of Jesus Christ. But what's going on? Are they gone now? Did I not have any this time? Or is it like you can only do that in the dream world? Is that where you're both in the... I just got chills again, big time. That's usually when I'm being told something, so that's why I say that. So is it like only when you're in the same dimension? Or you're close, or he's out, he's feeding. I don't know. Something like that. But that's some scary shit. Oops. My apologies. But that's some scary stuff. And that really made me believe in Jesus Christ. Okay? More chills, dude. It's warm in here. I shouldn't even be getting chills. It's like up until that point, I believed in Jesus Christ. But from that point, it was like unquestionable. And, I've never had you always have second thoughts like, oh, what if I do just die and it's just sleep forever, no dreams? But that thought for me has never really lasted more than, 10 seconds now? I'm always just, no, Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior. He's such a nice guy. God is good. God is love. It's something to think about. I got so much face skin or fat or whatever. Look at this huge flab. I go like this and it's like... Anyway. No, but that was a really cool life experience of mine. It was changed my life. It did. I've had a few of those experiences. And we're out of time today. But guys, God is real. Jesus Christ is real. He is the Lord. Demons are real. I forget who said it. It was one of the, I believe it was one saint, but he said, there's so many demons that there's thousands of them on your sleeve at any given moment. Something like that. That was a horrible paraphrase. But big and small, they are all over the place. I'm sure that one I had was a small one. And the ones on your sleeve are even smaller. But some people have some big demons. It's all a hierarchy. So you have like Satan, right? Then you have the princes. I forget the whole, what's the P word? See, this is what I'm talking about, my poor vocabulary here. Principalities. I forget the whole principality. Root system, we'll call it. That's what we'll call it. The principality root system. Hierarchy. Holy moly, what am I doing? Smoking ganja here? Got no memory? Anyway, so they're real, guys. You got to keep yourself safe. You got to pray. You got to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. You got to read the Bible. And you know what? I really haven't been reading the Bible too much. Because I'd like to think that I get my information from listening to people talk about it. Because, who am I to read the Bible? Am I really going to take something out of it that somebody couldn't just tell me? Maybe it'd be more impactful, maybe it'd be more important that I'm reading the Word. But I'm the type of person that focuses much more on the key, or talking to God and asking God, rather than the lock, which is the Bible, of course. So that's something I got to work on. I just feel like there's never enough time. Never enough time in the day. Never enough time. Too many things to do. Too many things to do. I was talking before about hobbies. I'm not going to go into it. Let me just list off my hobbies because I'm really proud of my hobbies. I think they're really fun and they're pretty well rounded. And if I could, I would do every single one of them all day long. I kid you not. It's like you almost want your whole family to die. Not really. This is not what I want at all. Lord, please forgive me. I love my family. My family's my favorite hobby, all right? But it's almost like you just want nobody around. You want to be a hermit so you can do all the things you like to do. But those things wouldn't be as fun if you didn't have the same people to I don't know. I'm really like a self kind of guy. Like I like other people, but I'm very much an individual. I like hanging out with people, not like a weirdo or anything. I like my girlfriend. I like my mother. Actually, one of my favorite things about my mother is that, she's a liberal and we get into these debates all the time, these arguments, whatever you want to call them. But the thing I love so much about talking to her is she asks the simple questions that I just gloss over because they're like simple. But she's I guess she's a Gen Xer, and my dad's a boomer. But she asks like the raw, easy questions that you don't even think of. And then you get to answer them. And then she'll give you like the, cookie cutter CNN rebuttal. It's really like you're arguing with CNN. And she's not that bad. But she's got like the programming, you know what I mean? But it's fun because it's like you either have all the answers, and if you don't have one, you answer it metaphorically, you relate it to other things. It's just a great practice run. It's like I don't know. Nowadays, I wish I did debate club in high school or model UN. I'm so disappointed. I really am. I love debating. It's so much fun. I love speaking. Not that this is what I want to do necessarily. I think why speaking is so fascinating and so awesome to me is because it's an extension of thinking. Speaking is like thinking without thinking outwardly. You're putting it out. When you speak, do you really even think of the next word, or does it just come out? That's a cool thing that I've never really realized before. This thing is like giving me It's a cool thing that I've never really realized before. When I'm speaking right now, I have a general thought of where the sentence is supposed to go, but I have no idea how I'm going to fill it in or what it's going to result in. I guess thinking's kind of like that too, but in your brain, when you're thinking, you have like your thoughts, but then you also have an idea. You get what I'm saying? It's like thoughts are like you talking to yourself in your own mind. I was just talking to myself. But an idea is like, it's like, what even is an idea? It's so, it should be simple. It should be like, oh, I have ideas, I have thoughts. But an idea is like this wordless thing you're aiming at and you're approaching, or you're trying to explain. It's like healthcare is an idea. That's a poor example. Better example of an idea is like hunger or like, how am I going to get food? How am I going to get food is how you think that idea. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's actual definitions to these, but I'm just kind of trying to explain this. I'm going down a total rabbit hole right now. I've been speaking for 40 minutes. This is pretty good. This is by far the longest monologue I've ever done. And we've been all over the place. What I want to do is I want to start shifting away from talking about myself or just random whatever and start talking about the world. But the problem is I just don't know that much about the world, you know? I'm a young kid. I'm 20. I know nothing. I only know, and you know what? If I'm being honest, and I really hate that if this is like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's like my memory is really not that great. It's like sometimes I'll be like, what did I do yesterday? What did I do the day before yesterday? It's like hard to even put together. What did I even do in the morning? I feel like now, since I got back from Europe, actually, it's probably the best it's ever been for some very tangible reasons. I'm sure you can deduct, but my memory is not that great. I really screwed my memory up as a kid. I really did. I smoked weed way too young. It was awful. I'm sure it's going to be a battle the rest of my life to bring that memory back. However, it is a really cool strength. You know, turning your weakness into your strength moment here for me. It is a really cool strength to know that you don't remember anything, so you write everything down. It's like I have the Obsidian app. I don't know what you'd call the whole thing, database. I have an Obsidian database that is huge. You wouldn't imagine how big it is on anything. Another cool thing I kind of realized about my brain the other day, and this is why I love the Obsidian app, is because it's so organized. It's like your thoughts on paper. I used to use Notion. Not as good. I really like Obsidian more. I think Obsidian's cooler. But I gotta go to bed. I really think Obsidian's cooler. I guess just because it's in more of like a native file format, maybe. But I noticed this about my brain the other day. I noticed that I have some very intelligent, random thoughts about different subjects, about whatever. I'll just have like these, you know, realizations that are almost like random unpacking of information. And I have to write it down because if I don't immediately write it down, it's out the window, gone forever. But I don't have that same unpacking realizations that I do when I'm just thinking, you know, when I'm just, or maybe I do because now what I'm thinking is that I don't think a whole lot. One of my favorite philosophers in early high school was Earl Nightingale, and the other one was Napoleon Hill. There was a third one that I can't quite remember the name of, but those are the two important ones. Reason being, the whole point of their philosophy or their argument or their understanding of the world was that, and I'll put it in a, it's not a metaphor. I'll put it in an example. If you knocked on the doors of 100 homes and spoke to 100 men, one in each of those homes, and you asked that man, how often do you think? He'd be like, what do you mean? I think all day. But you're not really thinking when you're just going about your daily movements. You're not constructively towards a goal thinking. I think it's written better than that. Look up Earl Nightingale. I'm going to look him up. I'm going to listen to some of that tonight. But that philosophy comes with a great definition of success, which is Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Parentheses or goal. Ideal is goal. So to be successful, you just have to be progressively realizing or moving towards, hopefully at an increasing acceleration. That's my little additive towards it. Something that's worthy of accomplishment. And this would be doing something for people that have it worse for you. This would be, I really don't think this is like making a lot of money. I think that's actually a really poor goal. I think that's kind of dumb. I think that's really, really immature spiritually to be looking for a lot of money. Now, that is different from being financially free and a little less than that, financially secure, right? Because financially secure is like, oh, I have kids, I go to work every day, everybody's fed, everybody goes to school, blah, blah, blah. They have college funds, maybe. That's like financially secure. Financially free is like giving the middle flipping two birds. I'm going to go like this because I'm trying to be a nice guy, but flipping two birds to the government and saying anything you want about anybody. Using all the R words and N words you want. It doesn't even matter. That's like financially free. I don't know why I use that example. Those two previous things, I don't actually agree with those. Okay, that's not like what I think being financially free is, but just a little caveat. But I guess that's just what I associate with like vulgar behavior. But I mean towards the government or towards like the system, maybe. It's like not being able to be shut up, not being able to be deplatformed, debanked. And it might seem like these things don't happen, but apparently they do. How did we even know? And I guess that's like that's kind of my goal, is to be financially free. That's why I started being a crypto trader, or a trader period. I'm really a technical analyst or a algorithmic engineer, programmer. But that's really why I started. And I feel like the older and older I get, I should just do what I want to do. And that's partly why I started this YouTube channel, because what I want to do is talk and figure out the truth and change the world, first and foremost, towards what God wills. And I really do, I love trading. Like it is something to love when you're good at it. It's like when you're winning, you love it. When you're losing, you hate it, and you hate yourself, and you hate the world. so it's like a fun give and take. But it's hard work, man. Like not hard in the sense of strenuous, but hard in the sense of achievement. Huge barrier to entry. Huge amount of knowledge, practice, dare I say wisdom. It's like what's that phrase? Wisdom is knowing that a tomato is a fruit but not putting it in a fruit salad. You kind of need a ton of wisdom. It's a cool job. Kind of just want to be a politician. But it's too late for me. I never went to college. Guys, I bailed out on the system from day one, okay? I was forced to go to high school. I wasn't forced to go to high school. I'm glad I went to high school, but I went to high school. I actually loved, I really wish I paid attention in high school. Because looking back now, as who I am as a 20-year-old, the classes were so cool. Algebra 1, I want to learn Algebra 1. You know what I mean? Biology? Chemistry? Like, are you kidding me? That's looking back. That's in hindsight. But in reality and in real time, it's a little different because school's boring, you know? Teachers actually really aren't great teachers. They just don't teach very well, actually. They're not engaging. They don't encourage you to remember anything. Um, you don't learn to apply. You only learn to test, maybe. But I really didn't like high school. I didn't have too many friends. I wasn't that outgoing of a guy. Which is funny because I am like a really outgoing guy, if you know me. If you already know me, I guess. I guess I don't even think I'm that hard to talk to. You know what really did me in? We're doing a whole hour, baby. We're going an hour. We're never stopping. We're doing 3 hours, 4 hours now. But what did me in really was that I played the drums. So I wanted to be in marching band. And in high school, or in my high school at least, you could be in marching band when you were in 8th grade. So you could join a year early. I think even the year before me, you could join when you were in 7th grade. But I joined when I was in 8th grade because I love drumming. And the drumming part was really cool. But the people in it were like total nerds. You know what I mean? It's like the marching band kids were not cool at all. Like zero, like negative riz, bro. Negative aura. Like you'd walk into the band room and your aura would just be sucked out of you. You know what I mean? And that's what really did me in high school is that I was a band kid. You know, if I was a soccer kid, I would have gotten so many new friends. I would have known everybody, you know what I mean? But because I was a band kid, all my friends were older than me. And weird, but all my friends were older than me. You know, I was friends with, because I was in 8th grade, and I'd say I was pretty normal. So my normal was like the 11th grader weird, you know? My normal was up here, and they were a little weird, so they were down here. So we were like equal when I was in 8th grade freshman, even a little bit sophomore, and they were junior, senior. Sophomore year, it really started to kick off. I don't know if I did it junior year. I think I quit junior year because I just couldn't, you know, people younger than me, I don't think I could have taken it. I love playing the drums. I played the, I guess I did bass drum for, I think I only did bass drum for a year. 8th grade? Maybe 2. I think only a year because the year after I did quads or, what else you call them? Quads. We'll call them quads. You got like the bass drums, which is 4 different sizes, which is actually really cool because it's like if you have 4 bass drummers, all of their drums are different sizes, so they play like what a quad would play, but they're all part of like one instrument. So it'll be like boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? Whereas a quad, you're just doing boom, 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 boom. They're doing all 4 different people. So you got to be on that offbeat, you know what I mean? 1, 2, and that type of thing. Or even 16th notes, which just gets crazy. And it's like you have to count. But you also have to know it. You have to feel it. I guess you really just have to know it. And you have to have that muscle memory. But bass drums are actually really cool. And then like if you're the biggest guy with a big bass drum, that thing just murders your back. What murders your back even more is quads, okay? Quads suck. Quads are really heavy, okay? You're talking about 4 drums and a, oh gosh, what's it called? Tip, tap, tap, tic tac. darn, I'm like Grandpa Boomer over here. I don't remember anything. But quads are a lot of fun. Maybe I'll post a video of me doing a little drum set song. I wonder how I do that. I don't really have like the recording software to be able to do that. Well, we're at 55 minutes. I have to fit, another 4.5 minutes into this. What to talk about, huh? I think I'm probably gonna start. Smoking cigars again. I have to admit, when I say I'm in full abstinence, I'm excluding Zins from those. I Zin quite a bit. Not quite a bit. I mean, I have a couple a day, I'd say. But Zins are great. Zins are awesome. Zins are great. Nicotine's great. Caffeine is great. And then, you know what? I might be evil for this, but I would even put kratom in that same try bucket, because alcohol and marijuana for me is really just makes me want to do things that aren't not necessarily not productive, but like not even delinquent really. It's just kind of feels like a waste of time. Maybe half because of what I choose to do when I'm intoxicated or high. And I guess the other half is like that I'm intoxicated or high. So I really don't, those are things that I really wanted to cut out, and I did cut out. And those are just, I can't be doing those at least at least as frequently as I was before. But Zins are great. I love nicotine. Nicotine is just a great nootropic. Increases neuroplasticity, focus, and memory by 20%? And believe it or not, nicotine is non-addictive. Google this. 2015 Harvard, nicotine is not addictive. So boom. Really what's addictive is all the chemicals and garbage they put in cigarettes. I don't actually know that to be true, okay? I don't even think I've read that study. I think I Googled that one time and I saw the study and I said, wow, nicotine's not addictive anymore. And then I just started proclaiming that. So maybe give that a read. But and then on the kratom thing, kratom is, in my opinion, really good. Maybe it makes me a little bit anxious. And it's not even really like an energizer. It's not like nicotine is, right? Like nicotine, maybe if you hit a vape, you'll get buzzed, right? Not really from cigarettes. I've never really gotten a strong buzz. And definitely not from nicotine pouches. And I think that's kind of the point for me, is that it's whatever I consume can't be like overly intoxicating or what's the word? Psychoactive. I'm looking for and maybe this is wrong, but I'm more okay with non-psychoactive substances than I am with psychoactive substances. But no, I mean, nicotine and caffeine are just totally fine, in my opinion. I think those are like taking vitamins. I mean, they're not really vitamins, but they're semi-natural. They're not even semi-natural, really. I don't know. I'm just okay with them, okay? Get off my back, okay? If they're bad, I'll come to terms with it on my own. Relax, buddy. And kratom, I feel like, is right here, which is like in between non-psychoactive and then psychoactive, which is marijuana, alcohol, etc. Kratom is just, I don't know. I really love it. Apparently, kratom is really addictive. I'm not. I'm addicted to one thing beyond anything else, and that's the biggest problem. All these other things are really not that addicting. You know, it's like some days I'm halfway through the day and I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even have my cup of coffee today. I'm gonna go make a cup. Or some days I get to the end of the day and I'm like, wow, I didn't even have coffee today. Same with nicotine pouches, you know, out of sight, out of mind. Sometimes, a lot of the time, I'm just too busy to, okay, some of the time, I'm too busy to not think of them. You know what I mean? And with marijuana and alcohol, it's like if you're not doing it, you're not doing it. It's that easy for me. And I don't know. That's just how it is, I guess, right? I just looked at the clock and it was 1 hour, 1 minute, and 11 seconds. So I'm going to take that as a sign to get off and call it a night. I'm going to go brush my teeth, fill my water, and clock out. Hopefully I can wake up early tomorrow morning. We will see. So guys, thank you very much for this delightful evening. A whole hour, guys. First ever hour monologue. This was a completely useless monologue. I mean, I talked about me. I guess that's important in my first couple videos, eh? But I really don't want to be talking about myself like this. I really want that to be a rare thing. I want to be talking about the world. But we will take it. We'll take the win. This was pretty good. I'm interested to see how many times I've said, you know. I feel like I don't want to know. I feel like it's going to be really a lot. I wonder if I can run this through AI now that it's on YouTube and see. But also, I got to go back in my camera roll and delete all these videos because my storage is going to be absolutely toast. So we'll do that, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. Hope you're all well. And God bless you. God bless America. And I want to say something nice about Jesus Christ. Praise be to Jesus Christ, I guess. Can't think of anything much better. See you guys.